Hello everybody, welcome to the first round of the International VTuber GT Championship here at Silverstone. We're getting ready to get started with Season 8 now of this great VTuber series. I'm Ruby Acosta, driver for Queen's Design and your commentator for today, and joining alongside me is another Queen's Design driver and also somebody else who participated in last week's tracc.GT Cup race, April Carlsford. Say hello, April.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for having me, Ruby.
Always a pleasure to have a fellow teammate here. Just always a pleasure to have another commentator here, just so that I don't have to come up with all the jokes myself. I don't mind it, but it's kind of hard for me already. But yeah, pretty much 17 cars here today on the grid for this first round of the VTuber GT Championship. Not sure really what to expect for this new season. A lot of drivers that were pretty strong in last season's race are out today. We don't. A few drivers from Mirai, actually all the drivers from Mirai United VTuber Racing Team are out today because they have a conflict in schedule with the iRacing 24 Hours of Le Mans, or I guess you can't really say that now. I guess you could just call it the 24 Hours France race. But this will probably give a few drivers a good chance to get a podium that they haven't been able to, like, in the past. So here at Silverstone, it's a pretty technical circuit. April, what do you have to say about the circuit? I mean, we raced here last week at tracc.GT, even though it was in pretty flooded conditions.
Yeah, I think everyone else's experience of this track today is going to be quite different to what we had last week, where it was difficult. Like, people were dropping it left, right, and center, and I don't blame anyone for that. It was genuinely very difficult with how slippery it was. But today, no such problem. Nice and dry, nice and quick. So all our drivers get to just enjoy this classic racetrack the way it was meant to be enjoyed.
Yes, indeed, without any puddles in the way, without any of that nonsense. Hopefully without the turn 1 incidents in the backstretch parking lot that we had last time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So it looks like 16 drivers we had. We had 17, but we might have had just one disconnect, just real quick. But to run you through some of the drivers today that I think will be pretty strong. Lucas Lichten won last season's last finale race in the McLaren, driving for Team Iris. We also have Palu Kai, Moritz Hiccup, and Asa EXE. And Lucas Lichten, part of Team Iris. A little bit of a actually see them together a bit in the picture. Team Iris.
It's kind of interesting seeing the same team pick two different cars. Bit of variety going on there.
Yeah, it seems pretty common in VTuber GT for drivers to pick two different cars. You know, it's not a super serious league. You know, they're not really sharing setups that much. Just probably getting familiar and just wanting to pick a car that they're pretty comfortable with, I'd assume.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the nice things about ACC as well, is it's so driver dependent as well. I know having a good setup makes a difference, but just having your driver comfortable is really the important thing. And if that takes two different cars, that's what it takes.
So with the practice session coming to an end, we have Lucas Lichten on top of the timing sheet with a 1:59.707, a pretty great lap from Lucas Lichten. Palu Kai with a 2-minute 1:67, Moritz Hiccup with a 2-minute 2:32, and Asa EXE with a 2-minute 6:05, Psycho Kaizo with a 2-minute 8:42. Amethysta VTuber, I believe, with a 2:01.280. David Katse with a 2:01.675. Amariolis with a 2:02.942. Cody Lionheart with a 2:03.680. And DJ Overdrive rounding out the timing sheet of the top 10 of the timing sheet, with a 2:03.680. We're gonna see if this stuff if this carries over into the qualifying session. Actually, we've already had a change in the running order for qualifying. I mean, for the practice session. Psycho Kaiza went to P2 with I believe, looks like I won't have time to read the time, as it's now time, speaking of time, for qualifying.
Here's where we also discover who's been running low fuel during the practice session, who's just been doing race practice. Should be a fun shake-up.
So qualifying with 16 cars today. Not a lot of traffic you're gonna come across today, but still pretty much something you need to consider, especially when you're coming out at the pits for the first time. I think April, I think you might have a few pointers on how to qualify efficiently, I guess. Not going to the grass would probably help, as iMetric Zanes goes into the grass.
Absolutely. A lot of it's just remembering the basics, using the whole track and getting on the power as early as you can, brakes as late as you can. It's the kind of thing that's difficult to do over a whole stint consistently, but today, well, right now you just have to do it for one lap. It should be a lot easier to make most of it.
So Drew Crocs, the sheep mom of the field, the only sheep. But is she going to be a sheep in wolf's clothing today? Or wolf in sheep's clothing? I don't know how to say it, but either way, as
I guess only one way to find out. Stay tuned.
As Soleil has to slow down a little bit to make way for Moritz Hiccup. Probably not very happy with getting their outlap, which interrupted, but at least it's only the outlap. Hopefully nothing during the actual qualifying hot laps.
I'm sure he won't mind. It's all just traffic management, getting ready to have a clear qualifying lap for everybody, and that's all everybody wants right now.
So we actually have another disconnect, probably just a few little hiccups in their system. Probably will have these two drivers back. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. There is one of the drivers back. Amethyst, the VTuber, is in the pits. iMetric Zanes as well, and Lucas Lichten probably waiting for the perfect time to come out. The track is optimum, however, so pretty much he can just go whenever he wants to.
Oh, now might be a good place. Last proper corner of the track. It's all flat out from here to the start-finish line to get a good start to the lap.
Here we go. The first flying lap of the session underway. Moritz Hiccup in the number 34 McLaren 720S. I don't believe that's an Evo car, actually. I believe that is the last generation, but it might not matter. The McLarens are always really fast, no matter if they're updated or not.
Especially in Moritz's hands as well. Race winner from last season, of course. And today I expect he'll be hoping to try and achieve another one.
As they see coming down into... I forget the corner name, so I'll just say this corner I really struggle with. Just a really hard corner to get the apex on. I always go too late or too early, and always get into the runoff. Thankfully, Moritz did not go into the runoff or did not mess it up too badly. We'll have to see how the time is. Goes over that little sausage curve. Pretty annoying little sausage curve. And then into, I believe this is Abbey, which is turn 1 for... or Club, I forget which. But this is turn 1 for the Formula 1 drivers, but it is not for GT drivers.
You're right, that is Abbey into Farm, and then we've got Village and the Loop. Our double hairpin.
For me, sort of the dreaded arena section, the arena section, I'm not really very strong at, personally.
I don't think you're the only one. I think a lot of people dread this section.
And then back into one of the more classic parts of the track, the parts of the track that hasn't really changed much throughout the years.
Absolutely, into Brooklyn's getting a good line through his hard. Oh, a little bit deep, but
Yeah.
looks like he can remember it. Going through Luffield now, up to Woodcut to finish the lap, and we're going to see what a qualifying lap time looks like here. Oh, never mind, got one already from Yuki, a 2:03.16.
See,
Moritz used the entire track, oh my goodness.
That's a 2-minute 1:07. Pretty good first lap here, but there's still a lot more pace to be shown. Cuts a little on the inside curbing. Might be fine though, as we have a bit of traffic ahead of Moritz.
Yeah, it looks like he's now going into a cooldown lap. So, as soon as he's got himself a clear track again, I expect we'll see everything that he's got again.
Yeah, it looks like Moritz...
59.
Yeah, Moritz is 2 seconds slower than his best lap at the moment, so yes, it does look like it is going to be a cooldown lap for now. probably had no choice in the matter with that lap traffic car and also cutting turn 1 pretty badly. You can really get a you can easily get a cut down tire from cutting it too many times, as we see Asa EXC come in with a 201.312 for Team Iris in that Ferrari, that beautiful Ferrari.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this livery so much. It's one of my favorites.
So she will end up being P2 for now. At the moment, Psycho Kaiza, he comes across the line with a 2-minute 2:52, so this is a pretty close qualifying session, actually.
Absolutely, and again, cutting that turn 1 apex just a little bit. It doesn't look like too much. Probably get away without damaging the tires, but you'll probably still lose time. Very hard for us to see from where we're watching, but I'm sure the drivers will be frustrated about it, watching their delta all the time they're driving.
We'll take a look back at Asa.exe. Asa.exe going up on her lap, about like 3/10, I want to say, exiting this corner, now into Abby. I forget the corners already.
Exiting Club. Club is that little noodly little chicane section that ends the F1 lap.
Asa.exe in the pretty strong Ferrari 296. A lot of people probably not very happy with the BOP of the 296. 296 probably more like a prototype than a GT car. Some people like that, some people don't. But either way, it's working out for Asa.exe as she is up 7/10 on her last lap. So that's going to be a pretty big jump in the standings here. Might jump Amethyst, the VTuber.
Absolutely, that's third if she can hold on to it all the way through to the end of the lap. Guess we're about to find out.
Asa.exe also participated in last week's tracc.GT, though the practice from there might not carry on here, especially with all the rain. And that is great time, actually. That is a 2-minute 2:87. That is only about like 400ths off of Psycho Kaiza's 2-minute 2:52.
Absolutely. Already top 3 separated by less than 0.2 of a second, and we've still got 5 drivers who haven't actually shown what they've got waiting for us yet either.
Yeah, looking at Lucas Lichten, still not out yet. Not sure what's going on, but Lucas Lichten, a very strong driver, probably opting to start from the back, maybe?
I doubt it in a dry race like this. I doubt it. Might just be taking a bit of extra time to just pull his head together, make sure he's got his setup straight, and then show us what he's got towards the second half of the session. Over.
Palu Kai actually just cuts in between Asa.exe and Psycho Kaiza with a 2-minute 1:77. A very close top 4 actually, indeed. Actually turning into a top 5 as Amethysta has put in another 2-minute lap.
That chase is getting very interesting, but still no 59. I'm sure it's coming. I'll be surprised if we don't get a 59 in the session.
Asa.exe on the way to maybe get a pole spot for the moment. Up 100th. Might just be enough if she can get it. Ooh, that's a lot of traffic, though. It might be far enough. We'll see. Ooh, no, that's going to be right in front of her.
It is, but it might also be a tow down the start-finish straight, which could help. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
This will probably be the pole time for now. Up 200ths, 2/10ths, I mean. This is going to be a 2-minute... No, actually, just close. That is very close. As she gets blocked by, I believe that is Ryuma Tateyama in the 275 Porsche. Asa.exe will abort that lap for now. Let's take a look at Psycho Kaiza, who is very close to getting a pole lap as well. We'll see if Psycho Kaiza can get it. Yes, it is a pole lap. It is a 2-minute flat.
Fantastic lap time.
Still not any 59s. Probably it is coming though, as you say, April.
We've got 10 minutes. We've only got to find half a 10th. It's gonna happen.
We'll see anybody else is coming across the line. Amethysta. Not really with an improvement. 8/10 down on their best lap. That's going to be a... Yeah, it's going to be a... take a look here. 2:01.630. So, not anywhere close to their best... Or, yeah, their best lap time. Take a look at anybody else. DJ Overdrive, he will complete his lap, though as well no improvement for him. Indy number 12, Koneko Racing. Grip Runner is Ferrari. Great livery. Grip Runner is inspired probably by the Need for Speed Pro Street game.
I never played it personally, but that car is absolutely gorgeous. I can appreciate that.
A few drivers also making improvements so far in their lap. David Katse. David Katse is up. Oh no, that's an invalidated lap actually. Oof, just cut that corner a bit too much to the inside. Easy to do.
Absolutely, so tempting to do. And even if it's not invalidated, that will have slowed him down, no doubt.
We'll see if anybody else is improving in their lap. Shike Hawken. Actually, it seems to have made a mistake there coming into the arena section. We'll see if Shike Hawken can actually gain some time late in the lap, but he is down a second on the Delta, so that's probably not going to be very likely. A lot of drivers just doing their out-laps or having their laps invalidated. Pretty tough track to get a clean... Pretty tough track to get a clean lap in, especially when you're pushing for a ton of pace.
Absolutely, it's so technical that it does tend to separate drivers out a little bit. So even with relatively few cars like this, 17 is a good turnout, but it's a big track for 17 cars, and that pace difference can be the difference between getting a clean lap and not, spacing or not.
DJ Overdrive improving on his lap, up 6/10 on the Delta, as I can see on the timing screen on my screen.
That'll be a jump Yuki as well.
Yeah. You see where that puts him. Ooh, improving a lot on this corner. Up 8/10 now. That's a big improvement coming in this corner. Yes, that is about 8/10. That is going to definitely be enough to jump.
Is it going to be enough to jump Katse as well, though?
Just
Almost.
Close. So Katse will retain that 7th position. We're going to see if anybody in the top 5 is having a good lap. Polu Kai having a good lap as they have to dodge a spun around car. Not sure what car that was, but they are still improving on their best lap time. We're going to have to keep an eye on Polu Kai.
Polu Kai, you're going to be the one to put in the first 59. I think you can do it.
The Delta's looking pretty good out of that corner. That is 2/10 up. That would be enough to topple the pole time of Psycho Kaiza.
Absolutely.
And that would be enough to get a 59.
Well, Polu Kai, I'm rooting for you, cheering for you. You can do it.
Great corner out there. Good execution. Now for the arena section. A lot of drivers struggle with.
Especially because it's hard to see the apex as well through this corner. A lot of cars put the apex behind the A-pillar of the car as you're in the braking zone. Makes it so hard to know when to turn in.
And indeed, Polu Kai has struggled, lost all that time that they have gained. So basically only matching their Delta right now. We'll see if they can claw back any time here in these final few corners, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough for pole unless they get an absolutely amazing exit out of here. We'll see, the toe might help here.
The toe will definitely be helping here.
No, that's going to be very close to improving. No, it doesn't improve actually. So that will not be a 59, and that will not be any improvement to their position.
I'd like to just quickly apologize to Polu Kai for commentators cursing you. I am sorry about that.
Meanwhile, Aether Yuki about to come across the line, second up in their best lap time, so this will probably be enough to jump DJ Overdrive, the number 12 car? Yes, it is, with a 201.972. That's enough to go over DJ Overdrive in that Ferrari with their BMW. Now coming up to the pace, around the pace where David Katze and Amariolis, a very unique name, to say the least. You know, it's VTubers.
You gotta have something good for your stage name, though, don't you? You gotta. Them's the rules.
Polu Kai is giving it another shot. Again, once again, up on their best lap by 0.3. We're going to see if they can keep it up and hopefully not mess up the arena section this time.
So far, so clean.
That looks a lot better than last time.
Maybe a little bit tight on the switchback, but looks alright.
They are still up. If their lap would end now, this would be enough to get the pole time. I mean, of course, if their lap ended now, it would be a lot more than just, you know, a few tenths. But, you know, Lucas Lichten with a huge lap time with a 1:59.227. We missed that, but Lucas Lichten was definitely waiting for the right moment. An amazing lap time from the Team Iris driver.
Absolutely enormous lap time, well done.
So Polu Kai will only be battling for second, but that will be second at least with a 1:59.850. So definitely getting into 1:59s now with only 3 minutes to go in the qualifying session. Will Psycho Kaiser have enough to also break into the 1:59s?
Only one way to find out if we're looking at, is this the arena section in Village?
Ooh, it is, but Psycho Kaiser went over that big sausage curb. Will definitely lose a lot of time, and that is Amethysta forcing him wide. Ooh, that's not going to be very ideal.
No, definitely not. Traffic management can be so difficult, though.
So this lap will not be the one for Psycho Kaiser. We will go back to Lucas Lichten, who is already improving on that 1:59.227. It will be a 58 if he keeps this up. Fantastic display so far from the Team Iris driver.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic showing already.
With 2 minutes left in the qualifying session, there's probably only only at most 2 laps left for most of the drivers here. 1 lap, I believe, for Lucas Lichten. So probably won't matter, as he will come across the line with second over the whole field with a 1:58.822. What a lap time! What absolutely great great display of driving there.
Absolutely, Lucas Lichten coming back to show that he's ready to start the fight all over again after last season.
Psycho Kaiser, also one of the drivers wanting to... Psycho Kaiser, actually a former champion in the VTuber GT series, I believe in Season 4, hoping to show that strength once again. Unfortunately, there is the BMW of, I believe, Okami in the way. And right behind Psycho Kaiser is the number 944, who were Pastuska. Oh my goodness. Pastuska.
Oh, got it.
Psycho Kaiser will be the first across the line, so we'll see where Psycho Kaiser ends up. This will probably be their penultimate lap, his penultimate lap of the session. That will be a 1:59.870. Patsuska only is able to sort of barely match their best lap time. We'll see if Psycho Kaiser has anything for Lucas Lichten, or Polu Kai at least.
There's 200s in that between Psycho and Polu that Psycho's got to be in that car thinking, I can do this. This is possible. One last chance to do it.
So at the moment, a few drivers probably already have ended their qualifying session. Hubert Pasuska, Moritz Hiccup, Amariolius. Asa EXE actually jumped Patsuska. A great lap from Asa EXE. Lucas Lipton already finished his lap. Halukai still out, however, Halukai is 3/10 down on their best lap time. Psycho Kaiser is the only one that's improving.
You know what Psycho's delta is right now? Because this looks like a really clean lap so far.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The track for the loop.
It is climbing up. It was almost up to 5/10 actually. It's now stabilized at 3/10.
I see why that one missed Apex. But qualifying, that's all it takes.
We'll see if Psycho is able to claw back any time here. It looks like he might be able to. Ooh, that's a really good exit, I think. Yes, it is. That's going to be 3/10 up. That's going to be enough to jump Halukai for second place. Psycho Kaiser finishing out the qualifying session with a second place finish. I mean, second place finish in the qualifying session. Not second place finish in the race. But now we get ready for the main event of the first round of the VTuber GT series, Season 8. So
that was definitely exciting to watch, watching the chase for the last spot in the front row, coming down to the very last second of the session. Well done.
So with the qualifying session behind us, we'll go down the running order for today's race. So starting on the pole, as we've seen, over a second away from the second place driver, Lucas Lichten, is going to be starting on the front row. Psycho Kaiser is in second place right beside him. Halukai in third with the other McLaren. Asa EXE, the first Ferrari in the number 71 Team iRace machine. Hubert Patsutska with the number 944 Audi. Moritz Hiccup in sixth with the McLaren, and the only non-Evo McLaren. A Mephisto VTuber in the number 69 Ferrari will start in 7th position. A Mariolis in the BMW will start in 8th. David Katse in 9th. Yuki in 10th. DJ Overdrive in 11th. Cody Lionheart in 12th. Shike Hawken in 13th. Ryuma Tateyama in 14th. Soleil Drukos in 15th. Imenchik Zanes in 16th. And Okami in 17th. I don't think Okami has set a lap actually.
Okami did set a lap, but I think it was a fair bit to the rest of the field. I think maybe they've struggled to get a clean lap in throughout the session.
Yeah, I must
revenge through the race then, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I must have missed that since ACC doesn't save over the qualifying results immediately to look over, just goes into the race. Looks like Okami will be starting from the pits as we pull away to get this first race of the season started. So Lucas Lichten will probably be the big favorite to win today, over a second over qualifying, but as we've seen last week in the Tracc GT Cup race, drive-thrus can really mess up your race, and you could easily get them.
Absolutely, especially with so many corners where you're trying to make the most of it. It only takes a small mistake to end up running a little bit wide, or just being a little bit too excited to get to an apex, and that's it, that all adds up.
I know for a fact that both of us actually suffered from drive-thrus, maybe a bit unfair drive-thrus. I know I got 2 drive-thrus in a row successively from the game for going off track on the grass, not gaining any time. Thankfully, that probably... Yeah, that was last week at Silverstone.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the wet weather is not here today, so none of those silly little drive-through penalties. However, it's still possible you can gain 3 warnings just from pushing way too much.
Especially with the right motivator as well. If you're following someone close thinking, I can pass this person, I can pass them. That's exactly the moment when being a little bit too over-aggressive and those mistakes start adding up.
As he gets it through this very, very slow pace lap around this pretty long Silverstone circuit. So a pace lap, pace speed is going to feel like an eternity.
I always feel like an eternity when I'm doing it. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, especially with all the nerves that goes on before a race. Even as something as casual as tracc.GP for myself, you know, it's still you know, it's still a race, and I still want to do the best that I can, and I still fear for my life coming into turn 1.
Oh, absolutely. Casual league or not, you can't really beat that kind of suspense. You are going to feel it. I imagine no such issue for Lucas, however. He's probably feeling very confident approaching the start of this race.
Well, you have to be really careful going into the start, as if Pazutska getting really, really antsy on the start. But you still have to be really careful on the starts, actually, even if you're on pole, because first of all, you need to make sure you're actually ahead of the second place driver, because I've made that mistake a few times in my career, and also you're still going to be side by side with somebody, so you really just have to make sure you get through the first corner cleanly, and then you can finally sort of just calm down and sort of just relax and just put your head down and do the whole 60 minutes cleanly, hopefully.
Absolutely. I imagine it's probably a bit easier for Lucas, who will be starting on the inside for turn 1, but Psycho Kaiser, who got second by very small margins, no doubt had the target painted on the back of his on the back of his car, and well, starting on the outside going into turn 1 makes defending difficult. So I'm sure a lot of people will see opportunities there and see what they can make of them.
So, getting set for the start of the race. For the first race, the official beginning of Season 8 of the VTuber GT Championship. A very, very long heritage to this series. I'd say heritage, but it's probably a lot more memes than heritage. But, you know, there is no sim racing series like VTuber GT. It's one of the most unique series out there, with only indie VTubers racing against each other, promoting sim racing, promoting fun, and promoting their passion for VTubing and content creation. So here we go, coming up to the line, about to get the green flag. Lucas Lichten on your start is starting in front with Psycho Kaiser in the number 42 Aston Martin. And the green light is out. We're racing underway at Silverstone. Coming into turn 1, Lucas Lichten comes out cleanly. Psycho Kaiser actually lost a lot of spots, a lot of ground on the first place driver. Polu Kai actually passed him for the second position. Not much drama behind them, as nearly got together with Patutska. And Psycho Kai is going to go off with Asa EXE also going off at Maggots of Beckett's.
Such a frustrating start for Psycho Kaiser, but he's just got to remember that he put on secondary qualifying. He can climb his way back there, no problem through the race.
Looks like Soleil Drucock, she had a issue coming to the start. We'll see what happened here. You see Soleil Drucock, the sheep mom of the field, in that number 420 Dr. Pogger's Mercedes. Looks like she just got loose there and just couldn't really gather up that Mercedes. Unfortunate for the driver of the number 420 Katsei Racing Team car. As we'll focus back on...
Go on, you go.
yeah, we'll focus back on Lucas Lichten. As looks like Patsuska has taken over second place from Moritz Hiccup.
Certainly, but with a lot of cars hot on heels.
Moritz Hiccup, as we have a battle behind here with David Katse and Psycho Kaiser. Psycho Kaiser really, really willing to get all that position back, all that time that he's lost. Really frustrating, having to push super hard, but can't get around David Katse.
Seko's done a beautiful job forcing a mistake there, but can he make the most of it? Let's see.
Psycho is still looking for a way around the number 41 car. We'll probably have a chance here coming into turn 1, coming across the start-finish line. On the outside, might benefit him. Looks like it. Looks like Psycho will keep on to that line. Won't be able to pass, but we'll have probably maybe a bit of momentum on his side. Not enough. Ooh, looks like, oh my goodness, Amariolis just came in there just howling into the back of David Katse. Just unfortunate.
It really is. Two cars battling like that, it slows them down. I could see someone getting tempted, thinking this could be my opportunity. I get it.
As Amethysta goes around as well. So Psycho Kaiser gets a little bit of a freebie there. As Psycho Kaiser has to go through Amariolis again. Amariolis just coming in there like a wrecking ball. Just didn't really take into account the closing speed of the battling that Psycho Kaiser and David Katse were having. You know, as I said, pretty easy mistake to make there, and pretty, you know, it's in the heat of the moment. You just aren't really thinking about, you're not really thinking about it too much. You're just thinking about getting that position, getting that oh so sweet, you know, overtake.
Absolutely. I've got the guts to admit that I've done that too. It's such a human error to make.
As you see, Psycho Kaiser looking to get around Asa EXE. Ooh, that's a big dive as he gets into the rear corner panel of Asa EXE. Both of them around. Oh my gosh. Amariolis also around, probably just reacting to the incident in front of them. Just a little bit of mess coming into that corner and coming into the arena section. Psycho Kaiser will come out of there a lot better than Asa EXE. Asa EXE might be really frustrated with that move, however, and the stewards might be looking into that. Just a really sort of, just a really ambitious move from Psycho Kaiser. Probably just really frustrated from the initial start of the race, but you just have to sort of rein yourself in. Make sure you don't really make things worse for yourself, as he nearly did there.
Absolutely. It's such a difficult balance to find as well, trying to stick your nose in just to try and make sure you've got that space as well, but the smaller that overlap is, the more likely it is the person ahead won't necessarily expect it or realize that it's there. It's so easy to miss in your mirrors. But I think it just goes to show how eager Psycho Kaiser is to try and make progress and trying to extract every little bit of performance that he's got in his back pocket to make it happen.
It's very nice to see drivers pushing their best, doing 100% here in this series. This series is definitely not a very super serious, very super esports like environment, but we always like to see everybody give it their 110%, even if it does create some little accidents. You know, it still makes for a very interesting race to watch. As we see here, at the top of the field, Lucas Lichten still commanding the field in the Team Iris 720S. That 720S Evo definitely suiting him today, as Hubert Patsutska follows behind, trying to trail behind that car, but Lucas Lichten is just pulling away at a great pace in that McLaren. Patsutska in the Audi is also pulling away from the other McLaren in the field, the non-Evo 720S of Moritz Hiccup. Behind Moritz Hiccup is the actual Evo model of the 720S of Palu Kai. Psycho Kaiser actually about 9 seconds off of Palu Kai, so that's going to be a lot of time to make up for that driver. Psycho Kaiser hopefully will not have too much drama anymore after this, though anything can happen. We do have a little bit of a battle, though I believe that is just Psycho Kaiser getting past Amethysta for the 5th position. Amethysta trying their best to claw back any time, trying to fight tooth and nail, but you know, might have an opportunity here as Psycho Kaiser goes a little bit wide coming in that corner, so it gives Amethysta a little bit of opportunity to sort of lick their chops and sort of go for the attack, maybe coming into here to the first corner. Psycho Kaiser still goes a little wide, and maybe that is the sort of racing line, but Amethysta going tight, trying to get all that momentum for this corner here, getting the toe. Coming into turn 1, not close enough to get any pass made here, so Psycho Kaiser is safe for now.
Pretty much it's going to be a case of Psycho Kaiser needs to keep enough of a gap that he can just drive his normal lines and keep his maximum pace up, because he'll be looking at that 8-second gap in front of him, wondering how quickly can I make that gap disappear.
The 8-second gap now actually, April, a 9-second gap, so maybe something going wrong with the Aston Martin. Maybe the tires going, maybe cooked them already, maybe blistering them, who knows, but definitely struggling now in this moment of the race.
It might just be the cost of doing battle, which no doubt Amethysta is quite keen to start over again and continue.
Amethyst is still hungry for that 5th position. A 5th position would be a great result for Amethysta. They usually are sort of the midfield, one of the midfield battlers, so having a position way up there in the top half of the field, sort of top 5, would be a great achievement. Even now, though, with this 6th place position, would be a great result. But, you know, you take what you can get, anything you can get.
Absolutely, but even so, I can tell from Amethysta's driving that they want more. We get a dive bomb into the loop. Excellent lunge, well done.
They definitely wanted more as they get the pass done on Psycho Kaiza. Psycho Kaiza definitely wanting to bounce back, though. Going to the outside here. Will the outside work here? Maybe trying to set up for the next few corners. Amethysta might have the advantage here, though. We'll see. Amethysta goes a little bit wide, so Psycho Kaiza is able to hang on there. Going side by side. We'll see if...
outside.
Psycho Kaiza actually had a lot of momentum on the outside there, actually sort of rocketing out of that corner.
Absolutely. Psycho Kaiza seems to have incredible exits and fantastic speed in the straights, but just can't seem to be positioned on the right side of the track to get a track pass done.
Ooh, a little bit of contact. Oh, no harm, no foul.
Psycho Kaiza, no doubt, already scheming revenge, how to get another go, how to get past again.
And in the meanwhile, just losing time to Polu Kai, so probably a little bit of that frustration being shown. Just, you know, just let me by. I just want to I want to get pace. I want to get back to where I was.
Absolutely, and that pace is definitely there. You can tell from how close Psycho is following through these aerodynamic corners.
Psycho might get it done. No, not around the... Well, maybe around the outside. If he can make a stick, that's going to be a wonderful pass, and he does. Oh my goodness! Oh, maybe Amethysta just misjudged there, trying to pass there, trying to get back to that sort of 5th position. Just got into the rear quarter panel with Psycho Kaiza, but Psycho Kaiza will be able to retain that 5th position. We'll see if that is a warning, catastrophic warning for Psycho Kaiza. I wouldn't think it would be, but Kaiza maybe just a little bit annoyed at that move. It was a little bit too late for Amethysta to make it, but I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. That was definitely a this is my chance, I'm going to take it moment for Amethysta.
Just unfortunately, everything going wrong for Psycho here.
Absolutely, and that gap in front growing to 12 seconds, no doubt, making Psycho's situation a little bit more urgent.
And this is going to go for it again. Cannot put any fault to Amethysta for just giving it 100%, going for the gaps. Absolutely incredible to watch.
Absolutely, you can just see them peeking around the side, even when there's not a lunge on. They're just having to look up the inside anyway, just making sure they're in that mirror, they've got that presence behind Psycho.
Just letting them know that they're here. As Amethysta goes over that curb. As you said before in the broadcast, April just cutting that curb and just like losing a lot of time because of it.
Absolutely, but these are very aerodynamic corners, and that Ferrari is a very aerodynamic car, makes following through here quite difficult. I think Kaiza might be safe for the time being.
We'll go back to another battle on track between Aether Yuki and DJ Overdrive. DJ Overdrive having a good race so far. Aether Yuki, I believe, one of the new drivers here in the VTuber GT series, already making an impact as he will be looking to make a pass here. Well done, pretty clean, but DJ Overdrive is still there as Asa EXE. Asa EXE is hunting in the distance. Ooh, Asa EXE, what a move from Asa EXE!
Absolutely, Asa EXE showing us exactly how it's done.
She just sneaked in there, took 2 for 1. Absolutely skillful move as they still battle between DJ Overdrive and Aether Yuki. Both of these drivers just, you know, despite being passed by Asa EXE, you know, still battling for that top 10 spot.
Aether Yuki making a little bit of a mistake there, but still seems to be holding on, staying out in front.
Now behind, I believe, DJ Overdrive, that is Emerita Amariolis in the number 217 BMW. So this is going to be a three-way battle for, I believe, yes, 9th position.
I do love a good midfield battle.
So the midfield battle being led by Aether Yuki with Asa EXE already 2 seconds clear of Yuki. She is putting on a tear right now, going for revenge.
I'd just like to extend a compliment to DJ Overdrive. That is a fantastic name. Love it.
There he is, DJ Overdrive. With the grip, grip runners Ferrari. Emerita Amariolis about to make the move though, has the toe, now side by side, makes the pass over DJ Overdrive, though DJ Overdrive has the advantage of going to the inside. Ooh, just shuts the door safely into 10th position for Emerita. Now Emerita can get to work on Aether Yuki.
That must have been millimeters away from corner to corner contact. That was so close.
Great job from Emerita to clear DJ and just make sure that there's no drama.
Absolutely, using all of the space available and not a millimeter more.
So as we check back on the leader, actually the last lap time that Lucas Lichten put down was a 1:59.4. So the best lap time by a pretty good margin. The next fastest driver would be Hubert Patsutska with a 1:59.720. So Lucas Lichten putting on an absolute clinic, a great job from this driver today. He is absolutely killing it.
I'd like to point out as well, that is 59.4 with race fuel in there. That's not qualifying fuel, that is race fuel during those times.
It's already pretty hard to get at 59 here, especially with these cars and just these conditions. So to do it with race fuel, that is very masterclass. So a great job.
Absolutely, and not just that either. There'll be a bit of tyre wear in there as well. Even though these tyres are good to run for an hour, when you're running 30-minute stints, you will be thinking, how do I spend these tyres a little bit faster, just to, you know, get a little bit more out of them just for the 30 minutes that I need them. So there will be some extra tyre wear in there as well.
We'll also have to see who will take tires. Well, I mean, I believe with the pit window, there is mandatory tires and fuel, so some people will be, as we have a not caution flag, a sort of yellow flag on the field. Actually, two, Emerita Amariolis has gone around. What's happened here?
Oh no.
Emerita Amariolis is in front of DJ Overdrive after making that wonderful move. We'll see coming into Maggots and Beckett's, just going wide there, just spinning right in front of DJ Overdrive.
Just caught the grass a little bit there, and that's all it took. After that, all the corners after it would have still lost hope.
DJ Overdrive gets so lucky there, just millimeters away from disaster.
And Amariolis now under attack from Hawken as well? No, maybe not.
Yeah, Hawken might be struggling to keep up pace, even though Amariolis has just recovered from spinning their car. Shika Hawken might not have the pace to keep up with Amariolis, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, with 15 minutes down in the race, it already feels like a lot has happened. And April, what are you sort of doing in this point of the race, you know, like, even with all this sort of drama going on around you, like, a lot has already happened around you. You just, you know, what are you thinking, what are you having to try to do to get yourself, you know, back, you know, not to fatigue yourself and get yourself back into focusing?
Well, I think the challenge is in just car-to-car battling can be quite exhausting, and we've already had a lot of that, especially from the likes of Psycho Kaiser and Acid.exe, who've been on recovery drivers, who've just spent the last 15 minutes overtaking. It all takes energy out of you. And as soon as that calms down, you start thinking about the suspense of the pit stops, thinking about what positions could get shuffled around just through getting the pit stop a little bit quicker, getting your pit entry a little bit faster without, you know, taking any risks. There's a lot of suspense still left to nag away at the drivers here.
Yeah, I know. I know for me personally, at this part of the race, I'm just looking up at the clock and the time left. I'm like, oh my gosh, like still so much of the race left, and like I'm a very impatient person, so I'm just sort of like waiting for the clock to count down and waiting for everything, because 20 minutes of racing is already a lot, especially with what we've had here, as we have another yellow flag on the track. That is Okami, Far Okami struggling today. We'll see what happened here. Just got loose. Just fortunate. Couldn't really.
So tempting to do though, especially if you're thinking about running like lower traction control just to get a bit of extra acceleration, but it does open you up to problems like that.
We'll take a look at Hubert Patsutska, who has done an excellent job as well, holding down that second position, as well as Moritz Hiccup in that older McLaren. Just cannot mention that enough. The older McLaren, not the Evo. You can tell with the single canard instead of double canards on the front end of that car.
Especially on a very aerodynamic track like this as well, getting that kind of pace out of a slightly less aero car like that, it's fantastic. Slightly less in the Evo, that is, I should clarify. I know it's a very aero car anyway.
Yeah, that is very true, actually. Palu Kai also in fourth position, also in the McLaren. Psycho Kai's making up time now, gaining on Palu Kai, so might have found a little bit of his mojo back, I'd say, as he cuts that corner pretty heavily. That might be a warning.
But if not, it's just getting the maximum pace out of that car, especially now that he's clear of Amethista. He's now just got one mission left, and that's eat up that gap and take it from there.
So a pretty calm moment in the race at the moment. Just having to sort of go through the field and just seeing how everybody's doing their race. You know, thankfully, no big thunderstorm, no storms, no big puddles of rain on the track. As I said before in the broadcast, both of us really struggled with that. I know I made a few mistakes in the rain. I know that there was a few incidents you got involved in that were in the rain. Thankfully, a clear track, a clear weather, nothing to worry about in terms of the weather, especially strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. Right now, ultra grip on the track, and track temperature is 34, which is slightly on the high side, but I'm sure that grip is still feeling like a dream to everyone on track right now.
Yeah, Silverstone is just usually a track that just sort of eats away at tires anyways. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what temperature it is. It'll always just sort of, you know, just eat away at those left fronts. As you see,
absolutely.
David Kate has gone off. We'll see what happened here.
Come up to the loop now. Oh, just carried a tiny bit too much speed above the grass on the exit. So easy to do because it's such a hard corner to like carry speed through. You can't really do it, but you want to every time. You just want to. You can't help it.
And I know that we both have experience in Mercedes, and the Mercedes doesn't really have the best low-speed traction, so also might have been struggling with that.
That's very true.
And that has allowed Asa EXE to close the gap and potentially make a move for 7th position. So, recovery drive going well for this driver. She is going on a tear. Maybe wanted a bit more of a calm race, but, you know, it's in the past and you just have to do what you have to do to get the best out of your situation.
Absolutely. Right now, she'll be trying to make the most of the strength the Ferrari has through these section of corners, just to try and close that gap up and give herself those opportunities to try and make a move. Because it's one of those things, as soon as you're through in front, first behind you can be faster, but if you can just stay in front, well, that's all that counts in checkered flag drops, right?
Yeah, no arguing with that. I mean, I've also made my share of recovery drives in this series and also in track. I know that in Season 6, I was sort of a running joke where I would always make a recovery drive. It's very tiring. It's very exhausting. I mean, just so many cars to pass. And I know you've also done your fair share of recovery drives as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think with a lot of getting to know drivers that you do, the people around you, you'll get to know, like, the kind of lines that they'll take and the kind of spaces that they'll leave and the spaces that, you know, they maybe want to use themselves. But when you're on a recovery drive, you're suddenly doing that with drivers who you don't know anything like that about them, and they don't know anything like that about you either. So it really does make things a little bit more chaotic when you're on a recovery drive, just in case it wasn't exhausting enough, you know?
As we see a first pit stop of the day, we will not show right now as we are set on this battle, but Hubert Patsutska has taken their first pit stop of the day. So an early sort of pit window stop. We'll see if that benefits them later on in the race.
I put him in clean air as well, because pit stop delta is what, about minute 10, minute 20 here?
Maybe, but I think that maybe going a little later, especially in their position, they were ACXC going through a little bounce, cutting that inside corner. But I feel like pitting a little later would do better for traffic, or doing better for Delta and traffic, and just clear track, since they didn't really have a lot of drivers in front of them or behind them. There was a lot of space between them and Lucas Lipton and Moritz Hiccup. Maybe it's to try and sort of get the most pace out of, you know, this part of the race. I'm not sure. I'm not very good with pit strategies, but we'll have to see how it works out for them.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I'd have definitely left it later, so I'm really interested to see how this plays out.
So we are still on this battle for 6th position between Ansa EXE and David Katse. David Katse doing a good job keeping that 6th position on lock, though it might not be for long, as Ansa EXE has just closed up on the rear of that Mercedes coming into Abbey. Won't be making the move here. Wide decision. It's a one car wide corner here, especially with the speed to take it in. Not going into the arena. It's definitely a move you can make here, though she is not quite close enough to do it.
Absolutely. This isn't the strongest part of the track for the Ferrari, so for now she may well just be binding her time. We know she's solid with the racecraft anyway. We know she can get a pass done. It's a question of when right now, when she's going to try.
Now, out of that sort of arena section that I cannot stand, I cannot say enough how much I cannot stand that arena section, but they are now out of it, and now into, again, to the final corners here of the sort of GT layout here at Silverstone. Still on the back of David Katse. David Katse doing a great job. Again, as I say, holding on to that 6th position. Hopefully...
Tracc.eu as well, taking left field, trying to maximize the exit, like nice and early in the corner as well. It seems to really have paid off. That gap is very tight coming into Cops right now.
Goes wide there, though. That might be a track limit warning.
I think she'll have got away with it, but she's still behind David Katze, and I think that's what's important to her right now.
As we have our first penalty of the race, Faro Okami with a stop-go 30 might have been speeding coming into or out of or inside the pits. Either way, it's speeding in the pits, and that's going to be a very costly penalty.
Absolutely. That always sucks when you get that, but it's such an easy mistake to make. I don't know about you, but the fact the pit limiter turns off when you pull 2nd gear in ACC always trips me up.
Yeah. It's just, ooh, ACC nearly making a move there, but ACC is always very finicky with the pit limiter. Sometimes I accidentally set it off and, you know, I end up getting that dready stop-go 30. But, I mean, it's just something you need to practice as well and sort of be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracc.eu following so close through Abbey and Farm, so much closer than I thought you might.
Might have the inside here. Ooh, that is very close.
That is incredibly tight, though, and she should have a good chance through Brooklands if she can keep this gap going, because that's going to be a good slipstream down the Wellington Straight.
Here she comes. We'll see if she'll make the move. Not enough.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, not enough. Not too much distance. So David Katze goes really wide. Gifts that position almost. Pushing as much as he can to sort of hold on to that position, hold her off.
But we know Asta's comfortable on a wide line through Luffield, and she's still got the exit speed to do it. She's on the longer line, of course, but with the top speed advantage as well, this can be enough to get it done.
As he goes to the inside, this might work out. David
On the
Kotze.
switchback.
David Kotze had the disadvantage of having the slower exit, and Asa EXC makes it look easy there, finally getting past David Kotze for that 6th position. Now having to get to work on Amethysta with a 8-second gap to make up to 5th position. Meanwhile, we actually have not noticed Palukai making up some time on Moritz Hiccup. Moritz Hiccup losing a little bit of time on the 3rd place driver. As well as Psycho Kaiza actually gaining on Palukai, so it might not be completely over for Psycho Kaiza just yet.
Absolutely not. We may have to wait until after pit stops for this battle to resolve, but it looks like it's setting up to be a good show when we do get there.
So Palukai in the 3rd position on the podium spot, last spot on the podium. Palukai, I believe this is, yes, their 1st race in the VTuber GT series. A good debut so far. Ahead of the Season 4 champion Psycho Kaiza in the Technoburst racing car.
Gap is shrinking as well, still down to just 1.9 seconds now as well.
Coming across the line, that is now 1.5 seconds. Moritz Hiccup definitely struggling a bit, actually. His last lap was a 2:02.780, whereas Palukai had a 2:01.417. So that is almost nearly a second difference between the two drivers. So there is definitely a battle brewing here. Maybe before even we take pit stops.
Maybe the advantage of the Evo car is that it's got better tyre wear. Maybe that's what Hiccup is struggling with at the moment. I'm thinking very soon it'll be time for new tyres. At least we're very close to that point anyway.
Speaking of new tires, Asa EXC and David Kotze into the pits, taking their mandatory pit stops. We'll see where they will end up. Hopefully no penalties for those two, as we'll focus back on this battle for 2nd position.
So to watch which of these two blinks first and dives into the pits first as well. We're right at the halfway point now as well, and a lot of pit stops are still owed.
If you're Moritz right now in the number 34 car, would you pit right now and seeing that you have Palukai, like, just absolutely, you know, playing the Jaws theme, sort of reeling you in? Or would you keep it for a little bit longer?
I'd personally stay out in front, because catching up and passing are 2 different things, so I try and defend as best I can, and then aim for the overcut, because of course the outlap is always slower in ACC with the tyre temperature not quite being what you need.
It's actually a good shot, because I was thinking maybe Moritz Hiccup could actually sort of dive into pits and sort of recover and get back on fresher tires, but that is sort of a good idea as well, since maybe you might end up behind Palukai if you mess up your pit stop, which is very easy to do in ACC. You have to park at a very specific box, or else it sort of teleports you and adds like maybe a second to your pit time.
Absolutely, and if you brake early, a little bit cautiously on the pit entry as well, that all costs time as well, and that's all time for somebody else to just slip past.
Especially in moments like this where you're only under a second battling for position, especially for a position as good as 2nd place. Lucas Lichten comfortably in 1st place. So right now it's basically just the best of the rest, which is not a sort of a consolation. In fact, it is a pretty good title to have, especially with the quality in the top 5 at the moment.
Absolutely no shame in being in the top 5 right now. I think that's a fantastic result for everybody there right now.
Even in the top 10, great job to the drivers managing to stay in the top 10, as Palukai has got it super close, trying to make the move now on Moritz Hiccup. Moritz Hiccup just hanging on for dear life to that 2nd spot, as Psycho Kaiza is there. He is there, and he is willing to gain some positions back after those mishaps early on in the race. Psycho Kaiza to the inside of Palukai. He might make a mistake. Yes, he will. However, Palukai is still there, trying to make the move immediately on him. Palukai back to 3rd position. So now Moritz Hiccup does have a little bit of breathing room to sort of just keep on going and sort of not worry too much about the gaining number 43 McLaren. Psycho Kaiza diving to the inside. We'll see how that works out. Psycho Kaiza just not close enough to make the dive into turn. Oh, looks like Polu Kai goes wide, and that will give Psycho Kaiza the podium spot, the last spot on the podium, I should say.
And a nice clean line through left field as well, just to maximize that exit as Polukai comes into the pits.
Polukai probably thinking that they should probably go to the pits after that big mistake and getting passed by Psycho Kaiza. Probably just sort of minimize the sort of bleeding as Psycho Kaiza now gets to work on Moritz Hiccup. Moritz Hiccup having a bit of relief after Psycho Kaiza was battling against the number 43 car for a little bit. So now he is about sort of half a second clear of Psycho Kaiza. Kaiza, however, you know, we've seen him have pace, so it's going to be a matter not if, but when this driver passes him.
Absolutely. I understand Polukai's strategy here, though, of rather than getting tangled up in battles that will slow down, just separate the cars out and just race the deltas. Speaking of, we have Pashtushka coming back through as well. Has enjoyed clean air for a while now, and we're seeing how that early pit stop is playing out.
Patsutska has actually passed Palu Kai in the pit, so maybe that has actually worked out for them.
No doubt feeling confident about Hiccup and Kaiser in front as well, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
That is about a 40-second gap at the moment, as we have Psycho Kaiza and Moritz Hiccup going through some lap traffic. Moritz Hiccup, we'll see who will blink first. Lucas Lichten, actually, as we focus back on him, dives into the pits, taking his mandatory pit stop with 25 minutes left to go in the race session.
Should quite comfortably fit in between Kaiser and Pashtushka again, and then just sit there until everyone else is in their pit stops.
We'll see if Moritz will blink as well as Kaiser. Moritz
staying out. Kaiser in.
So it looks like the few drivers not yet to make their pit stop are Lucas Lichten is already in pits, so it would be Moritz Hiccup and Shike Hawken. Shike Hawken in the 6th spot, sort of trying to revel in the sort of highest spot they can get right now, trying to gain any time they can in the clean air. We'll see how long this sort of lasts. Moritz Hiccup as well.
Hiccup will enjoy leading the race for a short time, and we'll just wait in eager anticipation of the gap between Kaiser and Kai as Kaiser exits the pits fairly soon, I imagine.
Oh, looks like Kai is already out of the pits. Might have been a while.
Oh, Psycho Kaiser's still in.
And that will give Patsutska 3rd position, maybe 2nd as a net position behind Lucas Lichten. So a good strategy worked out, actually. And not too far behind the Team Irish driver with 11 seconds to spare. We'll see if they can actually take the battle, but I mean, with 25 minutes to go and a big gap between the two drivers, Lucas Lichten probably not worrying about it too much. As Palu Kai has made it past Psycho Kaiza with a pretty sizable and confident gap. I was looking for a word, I just couldn't find it in my dictionary.
I wonder if Psycho Kaiser had to repair some damage. We've seen a fair bit of contact on that car so far this race. Maybe that delayed the pit stop.
Yeah, that is true, actually. So Psycho Kaiser in the 5th spot, with Amethysta keeping that 6th spot. David Katse actually made their way around Asa EXE. Asa EXE, she will have to go around the number 41 Mercedes of Katse once again. So that'll be definitely a battle to keep an eye on. As Moritz Hiccup is now in the pits, we'll see where they will end up. Lucas Lichten obviously going to take the lead back after just a wonderful display of skill so far.
Absolutely, but well done to Pashishka for getting that gap down to just 11 seconds as well. Bearing in mind that Lucas Lichten was a driver who was a second clear in qualifying, but we've definitely not seen that same clearance throughout the race.
I was definitely expecting a lot more than just 11 seconds, so yeah, hats off to Hubert Patzka. You see Patzka going past Moritz pickup in the pits. That gap is now about 12 seconds, but still pretty surprising. Nonetheless, I was expecting, because that gap was about 22 seconds before the pit stop, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
As we see, ooh, that is Ryuma Tateyama going off, one of the lap traffic cars. Entering the track cleanly. Thankfully, no harm, no foul, no drama there. Asa EXC now having to battle Deja Vu again, having to battle David Katse. Not this again, she's probably thinking.
But she's also remembering that she's done this once before. Surely she can do it again.
David Katse, though, probably learned a few things from their encounter. Probably keeping in mind, you know, where does she like to pass? Where is she stronger? Where am I stronger?
And this Trobot line through left field as well, whenever she's following anyone, just widens it out just to get a bit of extra exit speed. And look how close it's left that gap as well. She's really enjoying that toe thanks to that move.
Oh, David Katse going sideways! He cannot save it. Unfortunate for the driver of number 41 Mercedes. Just really went sideways. Just had no chance of saving it, unfortunately.
I wonder if we're seeing the fatigue set in now of drivers who've had such an eventful race up to this point. Just a little mistake when under pressure, because this is absolutely when it would happen, because you'd be feeling that fatigue.
David Katse was one of the drivers who was actually involved in a lot of drama, a lot of battles, so definitely very likely that he was feeling a lot of that fatigue, feeling a lot of just the pressure on and just could not take it anymore. And I've been in that position a lot of times, just having to sort of gather myself up, and that sort of fatigue can end up making big mistakes for you in the race, losing you a lot of time. Thankfully, it's just one position, but that's a big gap that you have to back up again.
Absolutely, yeah.
As Paulu Kai in the 4th spot, actually Moritz Hiccup has held on into that 3rd position. Paulu Kai maybe not maybe the best decision to, or actually no, because I remember that Paulu Kai was battling with Psycho Kaiser. So Moritz Hiccup having a bit of a cushion, though. We know that Paulu Kai has pace.
Absolutely, yeah, and there's lap traffic as well in between Polukai and Hiccup. Again, helps that gap for Hiccup.
That is solo Drew Cox. She is trying to get out the way. That's very scary for a driver like her.
Especially in a place where passing's difficult like this. Oh, but she's very respectful. That's true.
A very respectful sheep, a very kind sheep. I wouldn't say sheepish behavior, but, you know.
No, I wouldn't either. I think it is just about respect, giving some respect.
Though she is a sheep mom, so. Either way, Paulu Kai trying to gain that time back to Moritz Hiccup. Moritz Hiccup definitely having a lot better time on these new tires, however, on this new stint. Psycho Kaiser about 7 seconds back from Paulu Kai. So the gaps are pretty steady right now. Not much going on. A little bit of a calm moment in the race, but also a moment in the race where you have to sort of keep focus, as you've seen. Even if David Katse was in the middle of battle, you can still do those mistakes even when you have nobody around you, because you can just sort of space out, have nothing really to focus on. All of a sudden, you find yourself in the grass or spinning out.
Absolutely, yeah. But this is also the point in the race where everyone's strategy throughout the race is starting to pay off as well. We know Hiccup has the youngest tires out of, I think, everybody in the field. Is that right?
Yes, as Hubert Patzka actually had a bit of a moment here. Ooh, good save.
Catch.
We've seen, as we said before, Katse wasn't able to catch it there, so for Hubert Patzka to able to sort of gather it up, keep it in going to the right direction. Very good job. However, that will give Lucas Lichten way more of a gap, way more of a comfortable lead.
Absolutely. Saving a slide like that in mid-engine car shows great skill, but you've still got to lift a lot to do it.
So we are still on this sort of little impending battle between Olu Kai and Moritz Hiccup. Not sure if it'll be a battle as Moritz Hiccup's able to keep the gap, and there is the lap car of Cody Lionheart in the number 39 Nissan in the way. Olu Kai will make quick work of the lap traffic, but still not ideal if you're trying to make up time to the car ahead of you.
You see Lionheart thinking about taking the toe down the front straight here.
A lot of these drivers taking valuable points, especially with Mirai United VTuber Racing Team. Their drivers not in the race today due to Le Mans, so definitely a good time to sort of be on your best behavior and just get as much points as you can for the rest of the season. Take advantage of the drivers not being here today and keep that in your sort of back pocket for the championship.
Absolutely, because if I'm not mistaken, there's no drop scores or anything for this championship, is there? Whatever points you get today, you're definitely going to be keeping all the way through to the end of the season, right?
Yeah, there are no drop points, so basically you have to race every race like it's like it counts. I mean, every race counts, but even more so where there's no drop rounds. So yeah, definitely will hurt a bit of the drivers that are not here today, though I believe that Le Mans is probably a bit more significant for them.
I can imagine, yeah.
You see, there's a yellow flag. Amariolis is around in the grass. I'm not sure what that is. That is exiting Maggots and Beckett's. We'll see what happened here. You've seen a few drivers go around here. There's actually David Katse has a yellow flag too. We'll have to look back at what happened to them. Ooh, just loses it again.
That's such a strange issue to have. Usually it's just getting a bit of a Scandi flick on or catching the grass. I'm not sure what happened there though.
We'll go back to David Katse. We'll see what happened to David Katse. We'll see if the replay caught it. David Katse is just in the, I believe was in the 8th position after getting passed by Asa Yixi after that spin at turn 1. We'll see if anything happened here, any drama.
Just going through Abbey now and up into Farm Curve. So far so good. Now the heavy braking for Village next. And again, so far so good. Got the loop next and the Wellington Straight.
Ooh, there it is.
Ah. It's a repeat of that accident from before, isn't it?
It is.
Too much speed through the loop and finding the grass in the exit. And that's gonna be so bad for the Delta, all the way down this long Wellington Straight as well.
As I'm seeing on the timing screen, it looks like Shike Hawken is looking to get that 9th spot away from David Katse. We'll see if Shike will keep up the sort of pace that they have at the moment. Shike Hawken in the Honda. I believe, yes, the only Honda in the field. So keeping that NSX flag flying. As we see, actually no, I was looking at the gap between David Katse and Aether Yuki, my mistake. As David Katse is looking to gain back that 8th position from Aether Yuki. Aether Yuki, he is trying to also hold on to that spot. I mean, you get a freebie, you want to keep it for as much as you can.
Absolutely, yeah, but here's where it can start getting undone as we come up to the heavy braking zone for Village. Is there going to be a launch here? There is. David Katze launching through, but still stuck on the outside for the loop. This is going to be good for Yuki's exit. Hopefully good enough to defend it. No, with David Katze's exit speed, he's managed to stay on the outside all the way through to the Wellington Straight. Using every last bit of runoff and holds the position.
Thankfully, not spinning out last time, as the grass can be very, very, very treacherous here. Aether Yuki not done yet, though. We'll see if Aether Yuki can make up any time in these next few corners. Looks like he is able to sort of hang on to the back of that Mercedes.
Absolutely. Not quite taking a little slide on the exit as well. I think that might be the end of that, because that's going to be difficult for keeping the gap all the way down onto Cops. Cops is the corner where if you're going to pass through Cops, you've got to be close when you start it.
Going a little wide there. We'll see. This gap is not really... Moritz Hiccup is around.
That's allowed Pastor to go through.
Oh no, they get into Amariolis.
Oh, that's such a shame.
So Moritz Hiccup falls out of the podium spot. The final podium spot gives it to Palu Kai after a mistake. So we'll see if Moritz Hiccup will have to sort of... We'll see if Moritz Hiccup has the pace to sort of gain back that spot after that unfortunate incident with Amariolis in the BMW. Looks like...
And as if that wasn't bad enough, we've got Psycho Kaiser coming up as well, who no doubt saw that happen and thinks, this just made my job a little bit easier.
Yeah, I had forgotten about Psycho Kaiser. Psycho Kaiser probably really frustrated, really having sort of seen the red mist, just pushing as much as he can to gain back any spot. And now it looks like third place. Second place is pretty far up the field, but a podium isn't out of reach anymore.
Absolutely not. And that recovery ride of the century is looking like it might pay off in something special with the third place. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed. With only about 11 minutes to go, not a lot left in this race. So far, Lucas Lichten has put on a clinic, leading the field every lap, but Patska and Kai are already also giving out pretty great performances. The rest of the field always competitive as usual. For now, though, we are still focusing on this battle between Kai and Hiccup for the final spot on the podium between two 720Ss, one of the Evo model, one of the previous gen. We'll see what will come out on top. And it looks like Hiccup has gained a lot of time.
Absolutely. Just holding on to the back of Polly Kai nice and easily. That's the case of turning that into an overtake on those slightly younger tyres. They've had a spin, but they are still a lot younger.
And we have the driver, and we have, yes, Amariolis actually, who was involved in that incident between them and Moritz Hiccup. So that will be interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully maybe just realizes, oops, I made a little mistake, I'll just let you by right now. We'll see what happens here. As looks like they are holding up Palu Kai. Oh, as Moritz Hiccup goes a little sideways there. Not too much, but that's going to lose them just a little bit of time.
Just goes to show how much Hiccup wants this, though. That is a pushing slide, if I've ever seen one.
We'll take a look at Palu Kai trying to get around this BMW of Amariolis. Amariolis struggling with the exits. They're sort of always going sideways.
But at least making this fairly easy on the hanger straight. Is Hiccup getting through as well?
We'll see. Ooh, don't make this a repeat. Thankfully.
Yeah, a little bit difficult, but Hiccup is through.
That does give Psycho Kaiser a bit of room, a bit of gap to work with, though.
Absolutely, but Psycho Kaiser also has to get past that BMW as well. Which hopefully means just catching the BMW in the right spot rather than the wrong spot.
So keep Psycho Kaiser in mind in the back of this battle for the last spot on the podium position with Patsutska and Lucas Lichten already far ahead. This is going to be one to keep an eye on. As we see Moritz Hiccup definitely pushing. You see the rear just kicking out, trying to do everything they can to sort of just get all that time, get any time they can to get that last podium spot, get that oh so wonderful, oh so sought after podium position here for the VTuber GT Championship. The first round of Season 8, a long running, a very historic, not historic, I want to say, a very, very decorated history here for the VTuber GT Championship. 7 seasons of great racing throughout different tracks, different games. Now on ACC, been on ACC for a few seasons now, and we've seen A few drivers improve, come and go. A few drivers show their worth. And showing that VTubers can definitely race.
They certainly can. So there's one thing to take away from this, from what we've seen today, is that VTubers can in fact race. It's so good to watch Hiccup's car as well. That thing is dialed in so perfectly. Some of these little like squirms on the exits are just the absolute most slide you can get and still put the full power down. That car is really hooked up.
And McLaren definitely putting it into work. Psycho Kaiser has actually been losing time to Hiccup, so Hiccup... Shout out to Hiccup. Ooh, Hiccup goes a little bit wide and kicks out the rear. Once again, just pushing for every second. Gonna have to be careful not to wear out those rear tires.
We've also got Psycho Kaiser past the BMW as well. That gap did grow a little bit, but I guess now every second counts.
Sideways once again coming into Abby. Amazing to watch.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. It is losing them time though, as Palu Kai has pulled up a little bit of a gap. I'm looking at the timing screen, about a second and a half over Hiccup. Hiccup used to be about under a second. Maybe a little back and forth from different parts of the track. Maybe Hiccup stronger in certain parts than Kai is. As we have another yellow flag.
Hiccup also caught the anti-cut in Village through there, just trying to use a pole track as Shige Hawken goes around. What's happened here? Is that just braking oversteer for, is that Brooklands? Yeah, Brooklands.
Yeah. Easy to do, especially if you have the brake bias all the way to the rear.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good for turning, until it's just too good for turning.
Yeah, there is such a thing as too much turn-in, as we've seen Shike Hawken demonstrate. For now, though, the gap is holding steady. Actually, Moritz Hiccup is pretty strong here, and Maggots and Beckett's exiting this corner has a bit of a run here on the number 43 Golf liveried car, I'd say, Golf colored.
Oh yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but you're absolutely right. Psycho Kaiser 2.5 seconds back. Psycho Kaiser's definitely quicker, but I don't know if he's quick enough to make some moves here. There's only 5 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, you have to make a very consistent sort of pace. And Psycho, I don't know if Kaiser's been consistent enough. Neither has Hiccup been, actually. You know, for as much as they've been pushing, you know, it's not been helping their consistency.
Absolutely, you're right.
The pit window is closing now.
So the pit window is closed. Thankfully, everybody's already taken their pit stop, so no penalties there.
Which means that there are no ifs, no buts. These positions are exactly what the drivers have, and the last thing they need to change if they want to move up to the end of the race.
So now, Moritz Hiccup under a second once again, coming into the final few corners. Oh, goes a little sideways. That will definitely not help. And Psycho Kaiser is licking his chops, looking at Moritz Hiccup make that mistake, and just sort of being pretty excited to finally have a bit of a chance to make up positions here.
Absolutely, that's a break he's been waiting for a while now. That's so unfortunate for Hiccup, though. Really feel for him.
So that is almost a podium position sort of guaranteed for Kai if Kai can keep it as clean as they can. Meanwhile, Kaiser is a man on a mission. 4th place in hand for him.
Absolutely, you can see him using every last little bit of the track here, catching a little bit of grass on one of the apexes through Max and Beckett's as well, but it doesn't seem to have phased him at all. It looks like it's just widening out the line to maximize speed. He's so close, coming up to Stowe.
And Psycho Kaiser is definitely right on the back of Moritz Hiccup. Moritz Hiccup maybe just exhausted those rear tires, maybe just overheated them. We'll see. Psycho Kaiser on the hunt now with only 3 minutes to go. Not a lot of time to make a few passes. Maybe not enough time to get to the podium spot, but, you know, just any position counts, and definitely on a recovery drive, you're definitely gonna have to get anything that you can, even if it's not a podium or not a win.
Absolutely, and as much as we've been keeping an eye on Psycho Kaiser this whole race, watching how eventful that recovery drive has been, I don't think Hiccup has any idea. So it could be that Kaiser's a lot more tired than Hiccup realizes, but I guess we'll see.
Back out holding steady. A few of the drivers that we want to give a shout out to, Amethysta in the number 69 Ferrari with a great result so far in 6th position. Hopefully they can keep that up. Asa EXC, after a little bit of drama early on in the race, in 7th position. David Katse, despite a number of mistakes, still in 8th position ahead of Aether Yuki. And DJ Overdrive in the top 10, a great result for that driver. Needed something like that.
Absolutely fantastic, especially the compliments to Asa EXE as well. Asa's absolutely been my overtaker of the race so far.
And of course, we need to give credit to Lucas Lichten, though we will give Lucas Lichten that credit once he crosses the line. So he'll have to wait a little bit. As for now, Psycho Kaiser on the back of Moritz Hiccup. Hiccup having to push even further. This battle definitely heating up now.
Psycho Kaiser right in the toe of Hiccup as well, coming down the hangar straight, coming up to Stowe. Not close enough to make a move, but absolutely thinking about it. This might be good enough for a lunge into Club. We're just going to have to wait and see.
It might be earlier, too. On the outside, then Moritz Hiccup coming into Club. Maybe trying to get to the exit, maybe trying to make an undercut, maybe try, nope, just no chance of any switch mac or anything. Moritz Hiccup will keep the position coming into Abbey, this fast right-hander, that number 34 McLaren, over maybe just 4/10 up from Psycho Kaiser, but Psycho Kaiser just looking for any way to get past the driver as Lucas Lichten crosses the line to finally embark on the final lap. Meanwhile, looks like Psycho Kaiser just still on the back of that McLaren, actually losing a lot of time into the arena section coming out. Oh, it's very back and forth. Just very frustrating for that driver of the Technoburst racing car to find any way to get past that in the 34 car, despite all of Hiccup's mistakes.
See it all bouncing as well, as Kaiser uses every last little millimeter of the track, and then just a few extra as well. But seems to really be making it work, as he's right back on the back of Hiccup as well.
Come into the front stretch, or what is the front stretch for the GT layout, making their way to the final lap, both Hiccup and Kaiser. So final lap, final chances to make any moves here on any of these corners. First corner already done, so no chance there, though Hiccup already sliding their way through it. So that might give Kaiser a chance to make a move here in Maggots and Beckett. So Maggots and Beckett's famously a one-car corner, one car wide. You probably do not want to go side by side here, especially with how high speed it is. Though, if you get a good exit out of it, you might have a good chance of getting any sort of time on the hangar straight. Now coming down into this next right-hander, maybe he has a chance to make a dive. No, too far from Hiccup.
However, we've seen it before when Kaiser followed Hiccup through Stowe. He still made a move into Club. Still got an overlap on. So he's definitely still got some potential left up his sleeves here to make this work.
As it's a big closing gap, breaks a lot later than Hiccup does, so that gap is already diminished to nearly just a car length, maybe a couple now, coming into Abbey, this other fast right-hander. We'll see what happens here. If Psycho Kaiser can make the most momentum out of this corner as Lucas Lichten will cross the line. We'll get back to Lucas Lichten and Psycho Kaiser coming into the arena section, not close enough. Ooh, it looks like the move will be made here. No, Moritz Hiccup will keep that 4th position.
That was a good effort, though. Reach that point in the race, you've got to try something, because it really is now or never.
So Psycho Kaiser, it is now or never. Gonna look into peeking, make that dive. No, too far. Patsutsuka makes their way past the line for a 2nd spot. Halu Kai will finish up the podium, and we'll see if Psycho Kaiser will be able to make any move on Moritica, but Moritica will keep that 4th position. So that is Moritica in 4th position, Psycho Kaiser in 5th, and Amethysta VTuber in 6th for now. Asa EXE in 7th, but we'll go back to the winner of the race. Congratulations to Lucas Lichten on a wonderful result, a great win. Once again, just carrying over their form from Paul Ricard for the season finale of Season 7, following it up with another win here at Silverstone, already getting to a quick start to the season.
Absolutely, Lucas has just been untouchable this entire race. Absolutely rapid for every single lap we've seen.
As Asa EXE gets into 7th position, I don't know actually. Ooh, makes a little bit of a showboat. Oh, makes a little bit of a showboat display there, coming across the line in 7th position. David Katse crosses the line 8th. Enter Yuki in 9th. DJ Overdrive crosses the line, finishing 10th. Doing a few donuts, celebratory donuts. That's probably, I think, his best finish of so far of any VTuber GT race. Hats off to him.
Absolutely earned those donuts. Enjoy them.
So with that, there is your winner once again. As I said before, Lucas Lichten, wonderful race. So with Silverstone behind us, do you think that Lucas Lichten will be a favorite for this season?
I think it depends on what happens when other drivers come back from Le Mans, but certainly off to a strong start. I think Lucas really has shown that he's on a completely different level to the rest of this field, and 100% earned and deserved that win.
So with the conclusion of today's VTuber GT race for Season 8, first round at Silverstone, this has been me, Ruby Acosta from Queen's Design. Also, April Carlsbard joined alongside me. Say goodbye, April, as we will log off now, and we'll see you next time. I believe it will be... Oh, I have to look at the schedule.
I believe it's Kailami next in 2 weeks.
Yes, it will be Kailami.
Fantastic, that'll be fun.
For those who are looking to get into the racing action, we do have tracc.eu GT Cup series, the Tracc GT Cup series, every other Saturday that VTuber GT is not on for those who are not VTubers looking to race against the best of the best sim racers. And also, if you are a VTuber, you are very welcome to join next time at Kailami, the next Saturday after that. A very competitive field with a lot of big name VTubers such as the Mirai United VTuber racing team. Very skillful drivers, very competitive field, and just a way to sort of just promote your channel and promote VTubers racing and sort of motorsport VTubers and car VTubers, I guess. Not sure how to say it, but either way, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time, and as always, we'll see you on the racetrack. Goodbye for now.
Thank you, everyone.